So it was a bird centre a bit then, but
yes,
that was originally the children's zoo.
Yeah, it was a nice children's zoo. So where were the vegetables then from there? All the way down?
All the way. I mean, there's the fence, and you start there, and you come right across, or you go down to the fence in the village, you know, where the bothy, the old bothy, I don't know what that's called now, and then you ignore the elephants because they didn't exist.
So that was all vegetables there?
All the way from there, all the way round, all through what is now Safari.
Oh yes.
The whole of that vast area. You see, the kiosk, which used to be called Avenue Kiosk, was virtually at the end of it, and then there was this little bit of a wood, and then beyond that, on the other side of Cutthroat, all the way down.
All right.
Yeah, so it was a vast area to grow stuff.
Yes.
Not only to grow stuff, to rear, you know, pigs and...
I see, so it was just... that side
it was
then
like
really
a
just
farm,
turned into a market garden farm.
Yeah. And howl.
Yes, because they were right behind you, weren't they?
Yeah, it was lovely to listen to them howling. And the siren, I don't know if I say that in my book, the air raid siren.
Oh yes.
Was on the side of the water tower.
Yes,
and
I should make a note of that.
Every time it went off, the wolves howled as well.
Your father involved in that, and or was it just about everybody?
Oh yeah, everybody, I think, you know, it's got to be covered up.
I think you mentioned manure, and was it just generally any rubbish that you could find, or? Yeah,
sticks and twigs and netting, so it just looked like a huge bush thing, you
right,
know.
Yeah, shrubbery or something, yeah. Okay.
Right, the one I remember was the one right at the end of Duke's Avenue. There it was, this huge crater all round, you know, the avenue stops and there's this enormous crater. And then the others were down in what we then called the undeveloped area.
Oh, okay.
So that not...
there was a giraffe that died, was that... It didn't die as a direct result of the bomb, did it?
I remember it panicked and ran itself to death.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So there's that really big bomb crater there, and the others were virtually... How it missed everything else, and they were just virtually down in the undeveloped area, and one or two of them were turned into ponds. That's my father's idea. We might as well turn that into a pond as we've got it. You know the elephant house?
Yes.
Well, you go along from that and there's now a chimp island.
Oh, yes.
Well, there were a whole row of little paddocks.
All right.
There with just the ordinary square wire fencing.
Yes, yeah.
And they were along there.
So when Ming came back out of London then at the start of the war...
and there were three of them
so
in there.
To have 3 giant pandas...
Yeah.
What did they feed them on?
Bamboo shoots.
Yes, they had to be sent up especially from Cornwall.
Did they?
Yeah. Yeah.
What did you think when you saw them?
I don't know. I can't remember now.
It wasn't such a big...
I mean, they didn't do much.
No,
they just sat
asleep.
there. They looked very soulful with their big black patches. And then when I saw the little tree panda, I've always thought that's a much more interesting animal than the giant panda. When you can see it.
Yeah.
No, but I can see them now as we're talking, sitting there chewing on these 3 of them sitting there chewing on these bamboo shoots.
But amazing to think of having 3 great giant pandas.
But you see, we took it for granted.
Yeah.
That was it. You know, London had got one, we got these 2, old Ming's coming down to join ours. And that's it, you know. You just don't think.
No.
It was only afterwards when I gave the talks, some of the girls who'd been at school with me in Luton would come up and say, "Oh, we did used to envy you." And
I'm sure they would.
But it was the norm, you know, we didn't know anything else. Head of the elephants came down.
Because the elephants were at Whipsnade, weren't they?
Yeah, some of that they'd been down there because they were having a new house built to start with, and then some more came down. Charlie Bailey, that was his name. He came down and lodged in the village. He and his wife had a cottage in the village, and then Frank Shelley, he was the senior chimp keeper in the London Zoo. He and his family came down. I mean, those I remember because. Particularly Frank Shelley, because he had a daughter the same age that I was,
oh,
you
right.
see,
yes,
so that was... trying to think who the others were. I mean, there must have been... No, they didn't. It was their wives and children who came.
It was the wives and children.
And they came down to visit them. I mean, the first thing was first Christmas. There was a children's party. When Billy Beale and I went to, we'd never been to a children's party like that before, because there weren't enough children. And I went to school in Kensworth where there weren't many of us, and he went to a school in Dunstable where there weren't many, and suddenly there were all these children on this party. Village Hall was full of kids. Mrs. Beale will have been behind it somewhere. She was one of those marvellous women, ex-army wife in West Africa. And she was always the power behind everything. Any collecting that needed doing, Mrs. Beale did it. You know, these girls went and said, would she run a youth club for them? Oh, I don't know about a youth club. She said, but I'd run a guide unit. And of course that's...
Yes, the guides and Brownish. Captain Beale was the leader of the Home Guard.
And my father was the ARP.
And your father was the ARP. Yes.
I laughed like anything at Dad's army because it was exactly like it. Oh, my father really looked down on Captain Beale's toy soldiers.